Hey, everybody. How's it going today? I hope everybody is having an amazing day. Um, so I just came on here to share a story about a meditation that I had. I know I've talked about it a couple times, got to meet Kevin Smith out of this meditation, but I never really shared what entailed into the meditation. So even before I started meditating that day, I asked, I said to the wife, I'm like, hey, I'm definitely going to go meditate today. Do you want to come with me? And she's like, yeah, I'll come hang out. I'm like, sweet. Um, so we get out. I go to back to my room. I grab my mesa, my Mastana, my mesa, my medicine bundle, um, to just have that connected with me. Um, I don't need it. I just like to have it when I go into a really deep meditation. It just makes me feel connected to my body and to the other things, the other realms I get to step into. So, this was a different type of meditation. Normally, when I go into a deep meditation, I go into my power place. And just before I started getting into meditation, my wife was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab some ice cream. I'll be back." I'm like, "Okay." So I started getting comfortable, got into my space, opened my mesa, opened my everything up to the world to let it breathe and just let it connect with that energy. Um, as I started going into this meditation, I wasn't able to go to my power place. It was like I briefly stepped into it and then it was boom, I'm back on the ship. And it wasn't like I was in my body. I was out of my body. I could feel that. I was more in the back end of the ship. There's a volleyball court, basketball court slash activities area. So as I was walking down the gangway, um, I could feel this pull to the back of the boat. So I just kept that pull going in my chest and followed it the rest of the way. As I got to the back of the boat, there was a angel light beam. I'm not sure what to explain it as. I just was about 4 feet, 3 feet to 4 feet tall, and was just pure light. It looked like hmm, not a it wasn't like a ghost or anything like that. It was weird. It had arms and legs, and you can see a torso and a head, but there were no distinguishing features. Um, so it reached out its hand. I took its hand. We walked off of the back of the boat onto the rays of the sun. And as we did that, I just felt free and just I'm like, okay, where are you taking me, man? I'm just gonna follow. I'm just gonna follow. I wasn't scared. I wasn't worried. I'm just like, you're taking me somewhere purposeful. So as it helped me walk the rays of the sun to the sun, that was my entrance point. That was where it was taking me into that sun. And as I walked through the sun, all of a sudden I was like in this room. It was a pretty decent sized room. It felt like a medical observation room though, because it had thick black glass that was kind of facing at an angle towards the room, and then all the walls were like this, like how a cyber truck would look, that gray color like that, and very sheen metal, and it wasn't cold. Like, so when I touched the wall, it wasn't cold, but I could feel like vibration and heat at the same time, like almost like if you're putting your hand on the dryer as it's running, you can feel the vibration and you can feel the heat through the metal, but it was real subtle. It wasn't hot. It was just warm. So as I'm sitting there in that meditation, um, I, I thought back to a moment in my wife telling me about a meditation she had really similar to this. So I was like eager to tell her when I came out. But as I was feeling around, I found a symbol, um, real similar to, like, it wasn't quite an A, but it just had that shape to it. But it was like a like an I don't even know how to explain it. I should really try to go back and see it again in my mind, but I don't even. It was etched into the metal. It looked like how the Monster logo looks on the can, that really kind of jagged look to it. But it was etched into the metal. So I just felt it, and I started sliding my finger across it. And as I did that, this door like whooshed open. I don't know if it went up or open this way. I wasn't paying attention to that. I just know that when it whooshed open, it was the air hit me, and it like kind of, I don't know if I want to say it threw me back into my body, but it pushed me really hard, like to the point where I came back in. All of a sudden, I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, And I turned to my wife. I took my headphone out. I'm like, dude, I gotta tell you what just happened, And I was just really excited to, have something with her to share in that meditation that she's already experienced. So, maybe she had some insight, but I really didn't get to fully tell her what was going on, because then I heard Kevin walking down. Like I heard him say, "Hey, fam," he was talking to everybody. And then he stopped and took a photo with a young lady right at the end. And I'm just like, turning to my wife. I'm like, I need my phone. It was in my hand. I'm like, I need my phone. She's like, I don't have it. I'm like, I got up and walked over by him, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I don't mean to bother you. I'm like, can I take a picture with you? And he wasn't going anywhere important at the time. He was just walking back from something that he just got done doing. Um, I'm assuming. I don't know 100%. I'm assuming. So as we're doing the photo op, taking photos and stuff together, I just go to my wife. I'm like, man, it pays to meditate, right? And then I'm like, I'm going to say it to Kevin. And I'm just like, man, it really pays to meditate. And he's like, yeah, it does, brother. And it was a cool experience. And we talked a little bit, it was just short. I didn't want to take up too much of his time. But it was a really cool experience. And I feel it was a distraction. I feel it was for me to not question what room I was in, but honestly, it didn't distract me. I did talk to my wife later about it, and it was just a cool experience altogether. The meditation, meeting him, just being in the right place at the right time. That's more of kind of what I got out of it at the time. But little did I know that being smashed back into my body like that, I didn't even know it at the time, but I had split myself. I had a part of me that was there still in that meditation, because I don't feel like I didn't come back like I normally do. I generally come back gently into my body. There are times where I've had to end a meditation very abruptly because my higher self was telling me to get somewhere. But it was always just a gentle abruptness. It was like, okay, I'm sitting back down on my body, but this wasn't like that. This was like back in. So it was wild, and I felt weird. Not really that night. I kind of did a little bit. I was more focused on the stuff that we were planning to do, and I really wasn't paying attention. I just chalked it up because the boat was rocky. Excuse me. The boat was rocky. So as the night progressed, I just didn't think about it. So the next morning, wife wasn't feeling the greatest when she woke up. She said she had a sore throat, and I just figured maybe I'm not feeling the best. And so I was trying to put muggle things in there of why I wasn't feeling good. I just chalked it up to being on the boat, being back on land, just feeling weird. And then we took the flight home. And then Monday, I felt really weird. Monday was the worst. Monday was like, I definitely, every time I moved, I felt like, okay, say this is my body. This is my body. This is the energy behind me. So as I would move, I'd feel myself move, but then I'd feel this part of me catch up. And it was like an accordion. If I like look back, I could feel myself just whoosh. And it would only happen when I was walking or sitting down or anything like that, but not when I was driving. When I was driving, I was fine. So it was like, okay, this is weird. I actually thought about that. I'm like, oh man, if it gets nice out and I take the bike out for a ride, I don't want to feel like this. So I really just kind of dealt with it for a couple days, and then finally I told my wife, and I'm like, dude, I don't feel like myself. I feel weird. I know you feel like crap because you got some crud just from being out and about with many people. um, and she's like, well, why don't you go ground? Why don't you go find a way to ground or ground yourself into your body? And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, that makes sense because I was just talking to somebody earlier today, and they kind of were talking about something similar like that, but it was an experience that they had doing a session with someone who was shamanically trained. And it was a cool perspective, but the way my wife laid it out, it was it was like, aha, I should do this. I don't feel grounded. I don't feel connected to myself. Why is that? I need to go find the answer. So I went to our healing space over here at Runic Apothecary, and I laid down into a meditation, just put some music on, and just really just sunk in. And like I said, try going to my power place. Wasn't able to. I automatically woke up, or not woke up, but like was in the ocean when I opened my eyes. And there in front of me was a part of me. Um, I I have a feeling it was a little bit of my ego that was left back there that just like, I don't want to leave, you know. That's really what it felt like, you know, and it was just a really cool experience calling that piece of myself back. Almost like a soul retrieval. And that's kind of essentially what I was doing, is retrieving a piece of me. You know, maybe I made a Harry Potter Horcrux, and part of me was still in the ocean, and that that was my way back into the earth, you know. Like, I don't know. I have speculations, but I do feel like it was my ego self, and I'm like, hey buddy, I'm like, I do need you, we do work together, you know. I'm like, you are part of me, even though I'm not a fan of you and I don't work for you anymore. You work for me, you got to come back. So I called that piece of myself back. And so that was Thursday afternoon, and I felt great the rest of Thursday. Friday, I felt amazing and connected. And all of a sudden, Saturday morning hit, and boom, I felt like that away. I felt expanded again, like I wasn't connected. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, so later that night, I was doing Dream Temple with, I'm sorry, that was Friday. That was Friday, wasn't it? Yes, it was, because I worked the next day. My gosh, my days are mixed up. Anyhow, I did Dream Temple with my friend Whitney Hugelmans. Had a Dream Temple at Inward Bound, and it was really cool experience. And one of the things we had worked on in Dream Temple was a soul retrieval during a meditative kind of theta sleep. Um, um, yeah, that's what it was. It was like being asleep, but in a meditation. And she had brought us to a market, and at that market there was a tent, and the gentleman behind the tent, you know, you offer him something, he offers you something back. And what he offered me back is a key, you know, but I didn't know it was a key. It was a little Matchbox car version of my old Camaro. And sorry, getting buzzes on my phone. And I was immediately, I'm just like, all right, I know where I gotta go with this. I gotta go find my younger self, because that's who was connected to this totem, this key. And so I stuck it into the door and I opened it. Oh, I'm sorry. I back up. I offered, I keep hitting this microphone. This is not an optimal place to put this microphone. So back up. Sorry. I was offering him my stress. I offered the merchant my stress, you know, and it wasn't, I didn't totally feel it was a fair trade, but he took it. He was like, all right, I'll take your stress. I'll take whatever you're dealing with, you know, I'll take that for you. And this is what I give to you in trade. And he gave me that car, and I used that car to open a door. And when I opened that door, I was back in the water. And there I saw a younger version of myself, punk skater kid, just sitting there. And I'm like, hey man, I'm like, I need you. I need my fun. I need I need my childlike wonder. Um, I need that piece of me that was who I really was before my dad passed, because after my dad passed, I really changed. So whatever this piece of me was I would assume from age 16 to right before 18. Um, and so I called that peace back into me, and it was just an amazing experience. It was, most people are like, oh, that was just happen chance. I don't believe in coincidences or happen chance. For her to for Whitney to be doing that in Dream Temple, because that's not what we did last time. It was just something different, and it was geared definitely towards what I needed to do for myself. And it was just amazing doing these things for myself and doing this work for myself. These are the tools that I learned um, when I started this shamanic journey. Um, these are the shaman tools that I learned to be able to take these things into the world and help other people and teach, teach these tools that work for me. If not everything that I do for me is going to work for you or work for someone else. Um, so by all means, these are just stories, and these are just things that I'm sharing. So don't, be like, oh, I tried meditating, doing what you said you did, and I couldn't do it. It just don't go into it with that mindset. Um, but yeah, so I am making a very long-winded video, and I try to make a very short one. This is my second one. The other one was quite a bit long. But I've touched on all the points that I wanted to touch on. And I just wanted to share that story with you. And sometimes it is being in the right time, right place. And sometimes when you're in these meditative spaces and you explore them, explore what's going on around you. Don't just look at the things and go, oh, that's cool. Those are cool colors. Those are neat. Touch it. Reach out in the meditation, touch these things, connect with them, feel what they are. Open doors. And if you get slammed back in your body, there's ways to retrieve anything you might lose on the way back. And I don't know if that's why I lost that piece of me. I think it was more of how connected I felt where I was. Um, I think that was more of the aspect of it, as just I was having such a great time with my wife and my friend, and it was just it was a beautiful time, and I can understand why a piece of me'd want to stay back there. I'm like, nope, I'm coming back. So I just want to leave you guys with this last thing today. Just if you feel called to meditate. You don't have to be super comfortable. You don't have to do something special, have special music. If you can't meditate without music, definitely find some music that hits the ear good. My friend Matt Schmidt has tons of meditation videos online. You could do a guided meditation with him. There's other people that do guided meditations. My daughter really enjoys. Oh, I cannot think of the name. Linda Hall. I think that's who it is. My daughter really enjoys Linda Hall, and she does. She has a really soothing voice. But yeah, there's so many ways to meditate, and meditation sometimes puts you where you need to be. Like I just happened to want to meditate at that time. All these things had to line up for Kevin Smith to be walking up that area, me being thrown back into my body. Otherwise, I would have missed that chance. I never would have saw him. I had headphones in. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear anything until I stopped what I was doing after I came back from that meditation. Like I said, I took out the headphone and I heard him walking down the thing because I heard him say something to a lady he took a picture with. So it was just like timing, and just take those times for yourself. Take those moments and meditate or think about whatever you need, the project you're working on, or just find those times to relax. I guess that's I think that's today's point of the story is finding that time for yourself. I just went off on a rant today, and that's really all I just wanted to do is just share a little content. If you guys watch this, it's amazing. If you don't, thanks for even just looking at the video and passing by. If you want to share this with other people, I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers just so I can do live videos and start sharing them on my Facebook page. But yeah, So thank you everybody who came today and got to listen to me, and thank you for listening to my story. And I hope you have an amazing Wednesday, and namaste.